Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do some more gardening things. I need to up pot my tomatoes. So on one of my previous videos, I showed you me starting my tomato seeds, and they are doing so well. I'm going to show them to you. So here, these are my bush variety tomato seeds, and then these are my Kellogg's breakfast tomato seedlings, and they are doing quite well. This one here already has 2 sets of new leaves, and I'm so excited to see these continue to grow. And my peach ones that I did on the week late, just a little bit later, they're starting to grow, but they're not ready to up pot yet. And I'm still waiting for a few more tomatoes to grow, and I also have more tomato seeds to start. So I am doing quite a bit of tomatoes. I'm not going to be putting all these tomatoes in my garden, but I am planning on sharing some of these tomatoes. So first, I've already got some soil here set up for me, ready to go. Now, if you haven't seen me doing my potting with solo cups, this is how I'm going to get my tomatoes to grow. And this is the best way I found, and it was so successful last year. I'm so excited and happy to be able to do it this year. With these solo cups, you're going to make sure that you have drainage holes. So I'm going to put 5 drainage holes into each one. Now, if you didn't already see me do this, I've done this in previous videos before. This is a hot glue gun that's never had glue in it. I just use it to heat up. And what I do is I just press the hot tip into the solo cup, and I just let it sit there, and then I draw it back. And by doing this, I am creating some drainage holes inside my solo cup. And I will be doing this to all of the seedling pots. And I will continue to show you what to do next. You want to make sure your pots have some good drainage holes. If you don't want to bother with that, these solo cups, I got them at the dollar store for $1.25, $1.50 for 20 of them. But if you don't want to go through doing that, you can buy these containers. I got 10 of these for $1.75. So you will spend a little more already having it ready to go. But this is even more cost effective and another way to be able to start your seedlings on an affordable budget. And solo cups are food grade safe, so it works really well. So I'm just going to do that to all of these cups. Now, I do also know another YouTuber who has done solo cups, and what they've done is, instead of going through and just doing these all one by one, they used a really long drill bit, and they drilled, you have to be careful about it, and they drilled a hole, and they just went all the way through the solo cups. They went through a few at a time, and it is a lot faster than the method I'm using. But if you don't have a drill, and you don't want to go out and purchase a drill bit just to do that, though most people do have drills and drill bits, but this is just as easy, and it's just a little more time consuming. Now that you got your solo cups with all of them in the holes in it, I'm going to actually fill this container only halfway full. And that might make you think, well, your seedling's going to be very leggy, and I don't know if you can see. These seedlings are quite long, but I'm not concerned about that because the tomatoes can go into the soil right up to the tip here. And if you can see really closely, you can see all those little tiny hairs that are on that tomato plant. Those tiny hairs will actually grow a root, and the tomato naturally, it will keep growing and it'll keep rooting just vines right out. So to transplant my tomatoes, I'm going to transplant 4 of these tomatoes, and we're going to keep one in here. So what I'm going to do is, in the container that I have, this container here, I'm going to gently dump out the tomatoes by squeezing the side and loosening the soil. And you can see there's actually roots all through there. And I'm going to gently let all of the soil fall. And just keep taking out the soil. And I could even put the tomato in just like this, or I can take out all of that soil. And then I'm going to take my container and I'm going to fill this container halfway out. And I'll do the same thing with all of the containers. So I'll just put this one into that container and I'm going to add the soil around it. And I don't know if you can see, but it's almost sticking out the container. So what I'm going to do is build up the soil around that tomato plant. And this tomato is going to continue to grow more. I'm just going to firmly pat that, not too tight, but enough to get it in there. And I will water that down with some more water to help get it started. There is one. I'll do it in the solo cut so you can see what it looks like. Now these smaller tomatoes plants don't have as long as a root bed. Now you don't want to grab onto the side of the stem because that stem is still quite fragile. I'm going to take this little tomato and stick it down into the pot here and stick the soil all around it. And this one is going to actually try growing to grow up to get the light, because if you see, it's tucked down in there and it's going to want to grow and reach for the light. And while it's doing that, it's going to grow that long stem that will grow the roots along it. So there we go. So then I'm hoping that eventually it'll grow up to the top of this cup, and then I will add the soil in with it. So there you go. Do you see that? It's half full, so the soil's to here, and the plant's tucked in there nicely, and that's standing up nice and tall, and give it a nice little firm so that there's no air pockets in there, so the roots can continue to grow. The air pockets will make it stop, the roots stop growing. And then you just keep going on to the next ones. This cute little seedling. So I'm kind of putting a little hole where this little bit of rock soil is. And then I tuck it in there. Fill in the sides. More soil. And then I have this tiny little seedling that's going to grow inside that pot. So all of these tomatoes are going to have their own little pot to expand and grow in. And their roots will develop really nicely, and now they're not competing with any other plants, and they will thrive in these little pots. It's a really good root. So I'm just going to put that into the soil here and build it up. And let's get in a real extra soil. These ones are a little bit taller than the other two, so it's going to get some extra soil in here. And there is that one. Now that I've got these ones up potted, I'm going to put KB for Kellogg's Breakfast, so I know what variety of tomato I'm growing, But the nice thing about growing them in these containers is that I can actually write on the container what they are. This is KB, so I'm just going to label them all. All right, so now I'm going to do the exact same thing to these, and I'll be back. Well guys, I finally got all of my seedlings up potted. One of them, they're actually tiny enough. I just put them all in a little container, and I'm gonna let them grow a bit, and I'm actually going to give them to a friend of mine who is, that I'm going to give some seedlings to. But I actually up potted 19 seedlings. So I got 19 seedlings that have already germinated and growing, which means I had, I think, 100% germination rate out of these tomato seeds, which is quite amazing. I'm still waiting for other tomato seeds to grow as well. So I know I'm gonna have a lot more tomato plants growing. And I also need to start cherry tomato seeds, which I should have already had done, but I didn't have any cherry tomato seeds. So I did go out and buy some cherry tomatoes. Not quite the ones I was hoping to have, but I'm going to grow some of these, as well as we're going to purchase the Sun Gold and hopefully the Chadwick cherry tomatoes that I am familiar with from one of my coworkers. I've decided I'm going to start these tomato seeds just like I do all my other tomato seeds. So I have this little 4x4 container here. And so I've already got this soil here. It's already pre-moistened. And I've got potting mix and some earth castings in here. So I'm just going to take these cherry tomato seeds and I'm just going to put some in my hand. Oh, that came out a little faster than I was expecting. But there is the cherry tomato seeds. And I will put extra in here just to ensure germination. Now the bush variety seeds that I did start from the dollar store seeds from last year's seeds, every single one of them germinated. And I don't know what the germination rate on this one is, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. I'll do 10 just in case there isn't a germination rate. And like I said, I do give them away to friends and family to be able to grow these as well. And then I got them in this tiny little 4x4 container, and I will put some soil on top of this. And just a little nice light soil on top of them. Just enough to cover seedlings. I've seen people actually condense sowing their seedlings. I could put a full pack in one of these containers, and you just literally just, once they start germinating and growing, you just separate them into separate containers. So you up pot them. And this works for a lot of your seedlings. So you don't necessarily have to start all your seedlings in separate cells. You can start them all in one big cell, so you know what the plant is, and then you go ahead and up pot them when they're growing. So those are my cherry tomato seedlings. I am going to cover this up with a cellophane, just like this. I will write on here, cherry. So I know that that's my cherry tomatoes that I'm waiting to grow. And I'm going to put this under the grow light on the heating mat and watch these germinate and grow. So that is my cherry tomatoes. So I'm really looking forward to this year's growing season. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to follow along with me on my journey for 2023, go ahead and click that subscribe button and follow along with me and see how this garden grows. And just before I let you go, I'm going to give you a little view of what the tomatoes, all my tomato seedlings that are all set up. And these are a lot of my seedlings that are done. Over here is the 4-pack of the bush variety that I'm going to give to my friends. These are my onion seedlings right here. They're doing so well. This is a sunflower seed. And I do have other seedlings growing and doing quite well. And I cannot wait. Oh, there's another seedling. So I have a lot more seedlings that are tomatoes that are growing. And also my peppers are still doing quite well and alive and thriving. And even some are growing some flowers still. That's my plants so far for 2023. Until next time, guys, take care.